All right, so NBA 2K26 has been out for about a week and a half for the people who pre-ordered, and about 4 to 5 days for the people who didn't. Now, to be honest with you, I really, really, really like this game. But there is one thing that is keeping me from calling this game an all-timer, right? For me personally. I know for other people they have other things, but before I get into the video and give you those reasons, make sure you guys like and subscribe. We're on the road to 17,000 subs, and we're this close. This close, man. Y'all gotta subscribe, man. I know you guys have been helping me out a lot, but I would really appreciate if you guys could sub and help me get to 17,000. Now, that being said, let's talk about it. So one of the things I want to talk about first is what they've actually done right. You know, I don't want to come off as like I'm hating or something like that. So let me just give 2K credit, right? So first things first, let's talk about the VC. I'm known as the VC guy on 2K. Like literally, my channel is doing a lot, like getting a lot of views because people are looking up Rocky 2K because they remember the VC methods from last year. So people know me for as a VC guy, you know, which is kind of cool, I guess. But one thing I will say about that is that as the VC guy, I proclaim this game to be a healthy diet. What do I mean by that? I mean that if you play the game, you don't do any VC glitches, you don't spend money on the game at all, you will have fun because they made it possible for you to make VC on this game pretty easily. You know, and I'll show you on the screen while I'm talking about this, but they've done a great job at rewarding you for the VC that you make. Like you can play the game just for fun and you'll make just a bunch of VC, right? They have all these endorsements that give you VC. They have all these gold skills that give you a bunch of VC. They have things that you can repeat. Like they have a lot of VC in the quest alone. And then on top of that, right, they have VC for the park. Obviously, you get VC for breaking streaks and doing that and beating MVPs. And there's obviously VC in Rag Theater. Like all those game modes get good VC either way, but well, relative to the time that you spend on the game. But they've done a great job improving that completely. I'm gonna be honest, as the VC guy of 2K, they did a great job. I have to give them credit. I know people might not like it still, but I like it. It is way better than last year. I can promise you that. Right? Now, the other thing that they got right is the gameplay. They've definitely improved the gameplay so far. It is a fun game. You don't feel slow. You don't feel sluggish. Right? There's multiple varieties of playstyles you can play. You can play as a small guard and be effective. A 6'8", a 6'6", 6'9", lockdown. You can play as a 7'4". Obviously, the 7'4" and the 6'8" are the two more popular builds nowadays because, you know, it's kind of cool. But they did a great job. Now, another thing that they did that I really like is how they work the builder. They made the builder be rewarding at every point of the year because they allow us to mix or min-max, whatever, minimum max, whatever it is, where you put your attributes at a lower rating so that you can use a couple cap breakers to get it where you want them to be. So you can save attribute points and put them in other areas, right? So you've seen some really ridiculous 6'8" builds with some insane stats because they did min-maxing. Obviously, I didn't do that with this build, so it's not that good. I ain't gonna lie. But it's okay. It's not too bad, you know? This is not a build designed for that. This is just a build that I have fun on. But they did a great job improving the builder, right? Another thing they did, added something pretty cool like the crew rewards, made the cap breakers more rewarding. I think the rep rewards feel rewarding enough without making them consume the game because, oh, this is the only way to get cap breakers, right? There's a lot of different ways to get cap breakers. So they done a great job with those things. Another thing they did well is improve like the other game modes as well. I think My NBA has improved, Play Now has improved, even the simulation stuff and creating rosters, creating players, like all that stuff has kind of had an improvement. So they've done a great job in that. The one thing I don't know about is my team, right? Don't really know. But now I've given 2K its flowers. It's time to bring up the big problem that they've made this year. It's something called skill-based matchmaking. Now you might be like, wait a minute, why is that a problem? Well, let me tell you something, fella. If you don't think skill-based matchmaking is a problem, you probably, maybe you forgot, you didn't enjoy the games when they were, you know, back in the day when there was no skill-based matchmaking. I'm talking back 2012, 2013, 14, 15, 16, 17. That was like the prime years of playing video games for me, right? I remember playing Black Ops 2. I remember playing Black Ops 3, GTA, all these games. Obviously, GTA doesn't really have skill-based matchmaking anymore, but 2K, all these games were fun to play, right? Fortnite was a great example for a while that it was fun to play. What killed these games, and everybody from those communities, from the Call of Duty community to the Fortnite community, agrees that the thing that killed those games is skill-based matchmaking. Now, why? Because skill-based matchmaking doesn't reward anybody. It either makes the game too boring because no one is good enough, or too sweaty because everybody's too good. You don't get a balanced diet, right? One of the things that will help you get better at the game, and I remember this when I was a kid. I was like 9, 10. I was like 10 years old when I got Black Ops 2 for the first time. And I was a monster. I was amazing. I was a beast. I was Prestige Master on, like, I think I did it twice. I had all my guns diamond. I was a beast. I'm telling you right now, I was a beast at that game. Right? But the thing that made me good at that game is that when I would play, some games I would play people that were better than me. Some games I would play people that were just as good as me. And then other times I would play people that were worse than me, which would give me a healthy, fun balance. Right? When I played the sweats that were better than me, it sucked, but I was able to learn from them. Okay, so why is this guy getting his shot off before me? Oh, he's dropping down, or he's jumping around the corner, or his attachments are this, or he's using these perks. I could learn from it, right? And so I could use that against the players that were worse than me to practice, and then when I would get to that competitive level with the people on my level, it was fun. But in this game, it's not fun because it's the same thing over and over and over again. If you're at a low tier, and I guess I should just go into my career to explain this, but if you haven't played the game as much online, like I haven't, right? I'm not bad at the game. I'm not great. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. But right now, I haven't played the game enough to get out of the bronze level, right? I've been grinding too much, making videos, doing my career and things like that. So I'm at a bronze level. So if I go play rec, everybody that I'm going to play has bronze calling cards, right? But the problem with that is that those players are not necessarily on my level, for one, right? Because I do think I'm better than this tier. But two, a lot of them don't know how to play the game. So it's not enjoyable for me as a center to play that with them, the game with them, right? Because I'll be wide open in the paint calling for the ball and they won't pass me the ball, right? And so I'm having to carry the whole burden. And it's kind of boring. It's like, yeah, you know what? Like sometimes it's cool to get 30 rebounds. Sometimes it's cool to get 25 rebounds and have to get 30 points to win the game. It's cool, but sometimes I want a little bit of variety. You know what I mean? Like I want to be able to compete the game for fun, right? Sometimes I wish it was like the older 2Ks, right? Where, okay, I'm a bronze calling card right now, but I might play with, red tiers or whatever the max tier is. And I'm actually competing with them because in that specific game, I'm going off. Everything's clicking for me, instead of just being stuck in this area. So that, like I said, my opinion, skill-based matchmaking is the worst thing that they added to 2K. I think it makes theater worse. I think starting 5 is worse. I think rec is worse. The only thing that I don't know if it's affected is park. Park might be actually funner, right? But yeah, like I said, that's my problem. Maybe you guys would agree. Let me know down below. I do think that's what skill-based matchmaking is, what keeps people from getting better at the game, because they're not forced to adapt against better players, right? And they're not able to practice against worse players. They're always just playing people at their level, and it's like annoying. Either it's annoying or it's too sweaty, right? I'll be honest, like a bunch of like people who don't really know how to play the game should not be in competitive games all the time. But that's what they get because the 2K thinks that's what's fun. It's not fun. Variety is fun. Anyways, I'm going to complain for too long. I know it's a short video. Tomorrow I'll do the Wisdom Wednesday part 2. I have a couple videos coming ahead. I wanted to take a couple days off because, it's a long week. But anyways, God bless you. Jesus loves you. Goodbye. Hope you guys enjoyed this little video.